to identify and take risks that you don't miss those Jersey Shores, Killing Eves. To give you an example, Seinfeld, probably everybody knows the story. It almost didn't happen until there was a Chris or Courtney, until somebody at NBC basically said yes when everybody else said no. Oprah, too. It is constantly, over and over, what are each one of you doing to identify those opportunities and take those risks that you don't miss the next big thing?
I think you have to try to stay
Yeah, go.
I think you have to try to stay fearless.
I think we're gonna have the same answer.
I think you have to stay fearless about your choices, which is hard to do because the business is not necessarily set up to support that. But when I came to True...
So what does that mean to be fearless in your choices? Because you don't have an unlimited budget. What does that mean?
I made a commitment with my head of programming, Marissa Ronka. I'd never worked with her before. In the beginning, when we were going around LA, we were talking about what we wanted True to be. And we were sitting in a car one day, and she said, "Is this going to work?" And I said, "I don't know." Because we were talking about this wholesale reinvention of the network. And I said, "I don't know." I said, "But you know what? You're young, you have a stellar reputation, you're going to be fine. I'm older, if it doesn't work, it's all my fault. I'll figure out something to do." But let's make a commitment right now that we're going to stay fearless, and we're going to make the decision that every network executive wants to make before they start to second guess what their boss is going to think, and are they going to lose their job, and what happens if it fails, and everything else. So it is about making bets on bold, creative talent, on things that feel new and feel fresh, and then staying fearless, getting behind it and going with it all the way. And if it fails, it fails. And you have to believe that you're not going to disappear because something's failed. But listen, it's a job like anything else. People don't want to lose their job. People want to be seen as successes. But when you start, as a development executive, when you start to second guess yourself, you inevitably make the wrong decision. So I think it's about staying fearless and getting behind things and knowing that not everything will succeed because you can't control that. The audience chooses. You have to accept that potential failure, but stay fearless.
Brad, was Chris's answer the same answer that you were thinking?
We both...
You're just smarter.
You're
the eloquent one. Go ahead.
We both grew up at Viacom, the two of us, and we were lucky to have bosses like Van Toffler and Judy McGrath, and people who it was an entire company that back then, when in the glory days of us being there, where they would just take young people and throw them in deep ends, be like, you go figure it out. I was 32 years old, and they said I was a director of marketing, and I was 32 years old, and they were like, you go start MTV in Canada. Like, just go start it. Go. No business plan, no org chart. Just go start MTV in Canada. And I went up there and I got keys to a building and I'm like, what do I do? I have to hire people? What do I do? I didn't know. So I think it was just ingrained in us, to just give people rope to fail, give people rope to be fearless, and they're not going to lose their job if they went for it, right? You're going to lose your job if you don't go for it.
Definitely.
And I think that comes from the top. And I was going to say why I think all of our answers are going to be the same. So I think the three of us are very similar in that way, that we create organizations that encourage people to take risks. And we reward people. And in our meetings, that's the vocabulary and the language that we use to inspire our teams is be different. If we just do the same thing that Bravo does with less money, we're going to fail. If we do the same things E does with less money, if we market like them, if we greenlight like them, if we develop like them, we're going to fail miserably. So we have to be different, we have to be fearless, and you're going to make mistakes, and it's going to be fine.
And you're the one that's going to get fired anyway.
Yeah.
like eventually, because nobody stays in these jobs forever, right?
That's right.
Eventually something shifts and things stop working. It's going to be your fault anyway. You're going to get fired anyway. Don't you want to go out feeling good about all the decisions that you made, that you gave it your all, versus, I played it safe and then I got fired. So.
Well, I think it's taking the creative risk, taking to the entire organization too. Greenlighting and developing shows is the most important part of what we do, but it's a small part. We have huge staffs. We want to be as innovative in our marketing for Killing Eve as they are on the show. And we want to have the best thought leadership in our audience research to inform what happens back on the development marketing side. So I think it's actually building cultures where that's the norm, and you live and breathe this sort of and are fueled by this creative risk taking.
You're right, because just making a good show is like a fifth of the battle, right? There's lots of good shows. It's all the other things that get it out there that sort of break it through, that feed engagement, that support that. If it were only about making good shows, this would be way easier.
So much easier.
I even ask our PR team sometimes, like this press release you wrote, if you took the pop logo off it and put the VH1 logo on it,
Interesting.
would it read the same? Would it, you'd be describing the show the same way? Would it be the same thing if I just took that logo off and put our logo on? So go try something different. Go try something radical. Go try something that nobody else would do. And you know, and maybe on that press release you don't do anything that much different. But just that kind of push and that kind of leadership to try new things needs to permeate an organization if you're going to do what you just said.
For Killing Eve, we actually had our social media team mimic the obsessiveness of the lead relationship of the show, and we started standing our fans on social media, which is a combination of stalking, basically, and like celebrating the fandom. So we just looked at people that were engaging with the brand handles, or had just maybe mentioned it, thought they were going to watch it, and from the Killing Eve official handle, we just started liking some of their posts, whether it was related to our show or not. We slid into their DMs. We wanted them to feel this sort of, we wanted to immerse them and have bold marketing tactics that felt worthy of the show we were trying to promote.